When some of the most competitive men in the world are thrown into a sport together, tensions are bound to get a bit high at some point. Every single person wants to not only put on their best performance each night, but they also want to win each and every one of their games. That drive has created more than a few pairs of players who seemingly hate each other over the years, and sometimes even the fans get in on the action. Obviously, modern NBA isn't the exception to that rule, so today, we're going to talk about players that completely hate each other's guts.
And the bench is empty, my goodness.
Seth Curry and Paul George. To kick things off, Paul George and Seth Curry do not like each other. Paul George seems to have issues with quite a few players because he will appear on this list more than one time. But he has an issue with Seth Curry, the younger brother of all-time great three-point shooter Stephen Curry. The issue might have something to do with Seth Curry being married to Callie Rivers, Doc Rivers' daughter who George previously dated. Not to mention, Seth had an on-court moment when he insulted George via an NSFW comment. Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns. Joel Embiid has made a lot of enemies during his brief time in the league, but no one like Karl Anthony Towns. They got on each other's faces during their last matchup and even threw some punches. While some outlets have reported that Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns are actually good friends, their multiple scuffles on the court say otherwise. The pair have taken serious swings at each other over the years. People have said that the two men have officially squashed their beef, but when players were getting as physical as those two were on the court, it's entirely possible that putting on a good face for the public is exactly what happened. Only time will tell if the two men truly are on good terms or if they'll be swinging away at each other the next time they meet. Jimmy Butler and T.J. Warren. Fans of Jimmy Butler will never forget his issues with T.J. Warren purely thanks to the incredible gift that came out of their initial exchange. The two got into a heated scuffle that ultimately saw Warren getting ejected from the game.
Around and Butler not happy with that, had to be restrained by Leroy Richardson. Jimmy, do not take yourself out of that New York weekend. Oh, don't read lips, Heat Nation. No, Leroy Richardson, who is in his 25th season as an...
Rather than simply ignoring Warren, Jimmy Butler blew him a cheeky kiss in one of the funniest moments in NBA history. People probably couldn't have ever seen a moment like that coming, but it helped many people become even bigger fans of Butler. Both men then went on to share a few choice words for each other in interviews, solidifying their hatred. Hassan Whiteside and Rudy Gobert. These two men may not hate each other anymore since they became teammates, but they hated each other for quite a while. The two men clashed with passion on the court and were never afraid to voice their opinions on one another. Even after Whiteside joined the Jazz, people were still wondering if the two men would continue to hate each other. While no one can know for sure, the two men do seem friendly now, with Whiteside even saying that they play video games together. LeBron James versus Isaiah Stewart. The most highlighted scuffle of the season came between LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart. Not many fans will know too much about Stewart, a second-year center who is only 20 years old. The big man from Rochester, New York went ballistic during a Lakers-Pistons game that occurred earlier on in the season.
Now this is ridiculous. Yeah, he must have caught an elbow or something, but oh yeah,
Stewart was nailed with an unintentional cheap shot by the King, which prompted the center to go after the King. With LeBron trying to calm things down, Stewart was seeing red, literally with a bloody face, as he went after the most legendary player in the league. Needless to say, both James and Stewart deserved the suspensions they got. Nikola Jokic versus Markieff Morris. One of the most prominent beefs, Nikola Jokic and Markieff Morris had an on-court scuffle for the ages. After Morris committed a dirty play on the reigning MVP, Jokic ran full speed and tackled the Miami Heat forward to the ground. Of course, Morris' teammates came to his defense, mainly Jimmy Butler, and made it clear that the fight was not over. That led to the social media emergence of Nikola Jokic's brothers, guys who most NBA players probably do not want to mess with.
Keith Morris from behind.
Oh, things are turning ugly here.
With some more social media joined from both parties, the Jokic camp and Miami Heat camp made it clear that they will be ready if anything does go down. It will be very interesting to see if this beef will ever reignite again, because it certainly broke headlines this season. Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley. There has been a lot of controversy between Westbrook and Beverley over the years, something that has even led to some serious allegations. Beverley has gone as far as saying that Westbrook has actively hurt his career. The two men constantly get into it whenever they meet, and they have been more than vocal about each other over the years. Fans have managed to fan the flames all the more thanks to their undying love for Westbrook, something that often negatively impacts Beverley online and offline. Kyle Lowry versus Aaron Gordon. Another beef that started in the bubble. Lowry and Gordon simply do not like each other. During a game in the bubble, Kyle Lowry commits a hard foul on Aaron Gordon that would send the Orlando Magic forward to the locker room with a hamstring injury. Fast forwarding to a game in February 2021, Lowry seemingly hurt Gordon's leg by boxing out. It seems this feud will not end anytime soon because it has gotten quite physical in recent years. Terrence Mann and Luka Doncic. The infamous NBA bubble was a hard time for a lot of the best players, and both Terrence Mann and Luka Doncic were no different. The men would often go at it and have had their fair share of heated moments between plays. At one point, the two men even posted up in each other's faces during a game. It looked like a clash could have broken out, but Mann wound up being ushered away by one of his teammates before things could get any worse. Rajon Rondo versus Chris Paul. Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul don't have the best reputation around the league. They both created a lot of locker room conflict, but they definitely don't like each other the slightest. It was clear when they got into a fight last year during the Rockets versus Lakers matchup. Then, Rondo claimed that everybody knew Paul wasn't a good teammate. The NBA is extremely competitive, so most players obviously have something to prove or feel like it. Hence, more often than not, they get caught up in the heat of the moment. So, in the NBA, it's not just about scoring points. These players bring their own drama, fights, and stories to the game. Whether they clash on the court or have personal issues off it, it's like a real-life soap opera on the basketball court. And guess what? Fans love it. As the season goes on, we can't wait to see what happens next. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Get ready for more action, more showdowns, and more of that basketball excitement.